Happy Friday! We've made it through another week. I hope your week was wonderful. My week was quick and good, right? Nothing fantastic and nothing bad, so it was just a smooth sailing week. Today, we are jumping on with this dark, sultry, I'm calling it glistening plum, because there's two beautiful metallic shades that are kind of our feature, and then two really pretty matte shades that are kind of our background colors. So we've got pessimistic. This is a matte, a matte kind of grayish. It's definitely got some white undertones, but definitely has that kind of gray undertone as well. So it's sort of on the white gray side. Then we've got gentle, which is one of our new colors, one of my new absolute favorites because it pulls that pretty like champagne pink. So it's a highlight and it's totally appropriate for under your brow. It's not too pink to be like too pink for that area, but it just kind of pulls in some of those warm tones. So if you're a warm tone girl, this is a beautiful highlight for you. Then we've got manipulative, one of my all-time favorites because it's got that true warm, again, toned copper. So it's highly metallic and it pulls in that kind of bronzy copper. It's absolutely one of my favorites. And then fervent, one of my all-time favorites. This is a matte. It is plum. It's kind of got some cranberry undertones. This is a really pretty palette. Honestly, it's a really pretty palette. I'm wearing Stoic liquid lipstick with some gloss on top. The color is Luxe, kind of has like that brown tint to it. And the look that I've created is definitely a dark, smoky, like going out on the town type of a look. But just like always, these three right here can create a really pretty soft daytime look too. And you can use this as eyeliner and it doesn't have to be a heavy, super dark look. So this is the look. So you can see we've pulled the fervent and the pessimistic. That's that gray, that's that dark matte cranberry, and we've kind of blended them together to create more of a purple tone than this cranberry tone is all by itself. So we've mixed these two on the end to kind of get that hazy purple, and then on our lid we have gentle right in the middle as the forefront, and then we've got manipulative off to the sides on both sides, and then as well as under our eyelid on the bottom. So let's jump right in. First things first, you need to prime your eyes, especially with a look like this, because we are using super dark colors and we're using two metallic shades right on our eyelid, and our eyelid is where most people tend to get creases and movement throughout the day. So this is going to keep your eyeshadow in place all day long and keep it looking very vibrant and the true color that it is, right? So if we buy a color, it's because we like that color. We want that color to look the same on our eyelids. There's nothing more irritating in the entire world than when I buy an eyeshadow that looks amazing on the palette and then I get it on and I'm like, what's going on here? So these are already super pigmented all by themselves. They're actually infused with the same components as this primer, but when you pair them together, it's like, it's great. And it's a must in my opinion. All right, so let's take our blending brush and let's go in with pessimistic. Again, that gray matte. It's grayish. Definitely still a neutral, so totally appropriate for really any look, but I tend to wear this when I'm wanting to kind of pull some of those gray tones. Or in this case, mix it with fervent and create more of a purple than a cranberry. So you're going to want to just push this all across your lid and definitely work it into your crease. You can go all the way to your brow right now if you want to. I'm not going to. I'm going to add some later. So with this, I had to do some cleanup, so I'd rather just kind of leave that area bare in case I have to go back in. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is going to keep the same brush. We're going to go in with Fervent, which is this dark shade. You want to get it right on the tip of the brush, so going straight on. Tap off the excess. We're literally starting with like hardly any product. And you're just going to push that back and forth in that crease area. So less is more. So start small and build your way up. I'm going to keep it pretty tight into this crease. I don't want to go too much higher with this color, because what happens is if you go too much, either too much product or you go too high too quick, it can look a little messy, and when it gets messy, it just starts to be like a big blur and it looks like too much. So you want to keep it tight right there in that outer crease, and then just slowly start to bring it across the crease of your eyelid into that inner corner. Again, remember, wherever you touch your brush first is going to be the darkest or the brightest, depending on what your shade is, but it's going to be the most pigmented, right? Because our skin, especially when it's primed, it just wants to absorb all of that powder. So wherever that brush taps first, it's going to go and pull all of it off the brush. So you always want to make sure you're aware of where you're placing your brush to begin with. So I always place mine on the outer corner because I usually want the outer corner to be darker than, for instance, going straight in the middle and having a bulk of color there, or straight on the inside corner and having a bulk of color there. So that's just a little tip when you're applying. And then I'm just going to do some back and forth windshield wiper motions and really just buff that into the corner. And then after I get it, we've got Rockwell here today. Do you want to say hi, Rockwell?
Yes.
I don't think I can lift you right now, but he's here. Say hi. They can hear you.
Hi.
Okay.
Mommy. Wally?
Nice.
Does that say Wally?
Yes, good job.
I didn't bring the picture.
Okay. I'm going to tap back into Pessimistic and just hit that up right above that crease. Nice. Short Circuit. Cool, buddy. This kid is over here drawing Johnny 5 for any of you Short Circuit Johnny 5 fans. I don't know that he's actually seen the movie.
What?
Not sure. Okay. So the reason I'm putting Pessimistic now I'm going closer to my under, even though I'm actually hitting with the brush right on this side. So from straight on, it looks like I'm getting that whole angle, but really I'm just kind of getting that area, if that makes sense. That's the only part the brush is really touching. But what we're doing is we're just buffing that part out and just sort of creating a nice diffused look. So you can see already this looks like a really toned down purple as opposed to this really super bright cranberry, and that's because we're doing a lot of mixing with these two colors. So the grays in this top color are pulling out the purple in this cranberry color. So now we can go back in with a little bit more fervent. Again, tap off the excess and then keep it close to your true crease. So basically just repeat those steps. This time I'm going to bring just a little bit of it down towards that lash line, and then just continue buffing it into that inner crease, inner corner. Inner crease, inner corner, you guys know what I'm saying. And then you'll just want to make sure that every once in a while you do a spot check. Obviously, if you're doing this look, you're doing both eyes at the same time. It's easier to do it that way because you're kind of more aware of how much product you're doing on each eye because you're doing it at the same time. But either way, while you're doing both eyes, just make sure that every once in a while you step back, you reevaluate, you make sure that both eyes are even, that they're both the same, depth, darkness, angle. All of that's important, and if you catch it early, you can fix it a lot easier than if you catch it at the end or don't catch it at all. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go in with the crease brush, right? And I'm going to go in with the same color, and I'm going to just sweep that. Ooh, almost didn't tap that excess off. And I'm going to sweep that underneath my eyelid. And it's okay, because at this point it's going to look darker underneath on that lower lash line than it is above, because we've buffed quite a bit of it out above it. That's alright, because when we come back in, we're going to add a little bit more color and it's going to even right out. While I'm down there, I'm also going to take my liner shader brush and I'm going to dip it into manipulative. Get it on both sides. And then I'm going to spray it with my touch setting spray. That's just going to kind of cause all of that powder right there to accumulate and get damp, and then it's going to be very, very vibrant. So I'm going to, not on my inner water rim where we did yesterday, but underneath my lashes. Just kind of buff this in. And I'm going to go all the way to that inner corner. Oh, I love this color. It's such a pretty color. Okay, and what I'm going to do here is kind of meet that up like that and just leave it alone, right? So let's just let that sit, kind of fully let it dry, and continue on. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to grab our cream shadow brush, and we're going to go in with the color Gentle right here. Get a decent amount on your brush, like that, and then again grab your setting spray, and now we're going to put this right on that inner corner, right in the middle of our lid. It's not going any higher than the crease, and it's not really going much further than just a little wider than the actual brush. Just keeping it straight above. So you want this bright color to basically sit right above the color of your eye. So when your eyes are open, this bright part is literally just kind of hugging that area, and it's not really going any wider or any further. So just tap that in, make sure that you really press it in and it gets on there. I swear there is like a little small hair drifting on my face and it's driving me nuts. Okay, now flip the brush around to the clean side, and let's go in and do the same thing with manipulative. Get a good amount on your brush, about like that. Spray it with the, I almost said Fix Plus, that's the MAC one. The setting spray. And then this time you're going to tap it, let's actually start over here so that it's dark over here, on either side of that Gentle color. So sort of I kind of overlap where the two colors will meet, and then just continue tapping that all the way out to the outer corner. Again, not going any higher than that crease. And now come in over on this side. Let's get just a little bit more. Pretty. So pretty. Okay, now let's jump back in with our crease brush. This time we're going to mix a little bit of Fervent, about 2 taps, tap off the excess, and a little bit of manipulative, tap off the excess. And then again, we're going to just blend this right into that outer corner. And the reason that we mixed the two is because the two actually, those two colors mix right in this spot anyways. So this is going to help us just blend it out that much easier. Right out in that corner, and then I'm going to go back in with this again, hit up Pessimistic and kind of buff out that top brow one more time. You know what I actually am going to do? I'm going to tap one time in Fervent and one time or a couple times in Pessimistic and kind of combine those two as well, because they also mix right in there. And that's just going to sort of help us get that diffused look without any harsh lines. Okay. Now I'm going to go in with the Dip and Draw, and we're going to get a nice like bold liner look, and then we're actually going to cover it with Fervent. But we want it to be super dark underneath, right? So I'm going to have to use the mirror. Every day I attempt to do it, and every day I have to use the mirror. Let me just make sure I've got right at the root. We don't want any gaps. There we go. Okay, I'm going to let that sit for just a second because it is liquid liner and we want it to dry. And just let it sit for just a second. And while we're doing that, we can go in and grab our liner brush again and grab Fervent. Get a decent amount on the edge. And now you're going to just literally tap it like a stamp. What this is going to do for us is it's just going to tone down that black and bring in, tie in that purple, that plum that we're kind of going with in this look. It's not going to make it super light or like, you know, diffuse it all that much. It's just going to tie in that purple and give us just slightly like a softening effect, because it's dusting it, if you will, just a little bit. All right, and then the last thing I'm going to do for this look is I'm going to go in again with the crease brush, cleaned. This doesn't look clean, but I literally did just clean it. Just as long as there's no product that's going to come off too much. We're going to dip it in right here into Gentle, and we're going to hit up that inner corner and just make sure that that corner is nice and bright, and then just drag it just slightly onto that lower lash line. And then I actually kept my eyebrow, underneath my eyebrow, matte, because I felt like we had so much metallic happening on our lid and now in the inner corner that I just wanted to keep that matte. So I'm going to just hit that up with a little bit more powder right up under it just to keep it bright. And you know what? Now that I'm looking at this, let's go ahead and add just a little bit of concealer to our brow brush and give ourselves a nice bright. So what you want to do when you do this, if you're going to clean up your brows ever after you've done some shadows, you just want to go in and kind of trace them, just a little bit of concealer just right under the brow. It's super, super easy. I'm going to go ahead, wipe off the excess, and then I just sort of buff that right in myself with the same brush until it's, you know, mostly just dry. And once it's dry, I go back in with that same pessimistic color on my blending brush and just sort of add this on top, and see how that just brightens it slightly for us, cleans it up so it looks really fresh, really clean, really pretty. And now we can go in with our mascara. Let me grab my mascara. I'm going to always curl my lashes first. I walk my lash down, so I crimp it where I want it at first, and then I literally just kind of pull this down and out to the edge of my lashes. And I'm going in with the Epic Mascara. Get a nice little coat of this. Getting down to the barrel on this mascara. I've been using the same tube. Let's see, I got a new one in January. So, the beginning of January, right after Christmas. I ordered it during, like, over the Christmas break and opened it up right in January. So now that we're finishing up March, that's pretty good for using this every single day. Every day. My new one's in the mail. Ooh, I love new mascara. Cannot help myself. Okay. And there we have it. That is our finished, completed, glistening plum look. So, again, just let's go over the colors one more time. We've got Fervent and Pessimistic. Those have we've mixed together to kind of get that purple tone. And then we've got Manipulative and Gentle. Those are our two metallic that we used, and we mixed those onto the lid. So it's a really stunning look. Again, it is a dark look, so save this kind of look idea for when you're going out, when you have like a special event or something like that that's fun. We have Stoic on my lips. I did those before and added a little bit of Luxe, but right now, when you get the March kudos, you get a palette of your choice. You guys know this by now. You get to choose 4 colors, all your own choice. You get to choose a liquid lipstick, color of your choice, and then our Epic Mascara. So it's a great deal, it's a great savings, and I would be happy to help color match you or give you some ideas for when you're pairing your colors together. I hope you guys have a wonderful Friday, and I will see you soon.